It's so flipping hot. Now, as everyone in the UK may be aware of, they are aware of this, there's currently a massive heatwave apparent for the whole week. And I'm just going to keep this short by saying, it's leaving everyone in torment. I'm filming this right now in my room, which is upstairs, and I'm baking hot. And it's a Wednesday right now, and the temperature is now 35 degrees. And to anybody in any other country saying, oh, that's not that bad, would you like me to turn you into a vegetable? Now, unlike a lot of schools across the country, theme parks are open, such as Thorpe Park, Chessington, you get the idea. And I have to say to any of the guests that are going to these theme parks during this heat wave, you're brave. I had a trip scheduled to Thorpe Park this afternoon. Yeah, we had to cancel that because of the heat. I don't actually think Tidal Wave would have fixed this. And I was meant to actually film a Thorpe Park vlogs, but obviously that was scrapped. But with that down the drain, that made me think of other video ideas. And one of the video ideas were discussing what are the advantages and disadvantages of traveling to a theme park during a heat wave. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is advantages. How on TikTok, a theme park account named Theme Park Rides and Attractions, I believe, had a trip to Chessington today, which is the Wednesday, and a trip to Thorpe Park yesterday, which was the Tuesday. Now, at Chessington today, they mentioned how it was completely empty. There was nobody there. And I even checked today, the queue times at Chessington were probably around 10 minutes max. After seeing the queue times, I did consider going down there because it's not that far from me. But then I considered my well-being and decided, maybe not. Maybe it's just a good idea to sit in front of a fan in my underpants for 5 hours. Now currently all the rides at Chessington are all walk-on, including the popular rides like Vampire, Dragon's Fury and Manjul Mayhem. These rides tend to get long queues, especially due to the fact that it is school trip season now, but barely any school trips were in sight apparently, so that's a good thing. Even though I completely stripped my plan to go down to Thorpe Park today, as someone that likes theme parks, and I know a lot of people can relate to this, we do like to check the queue times quite often. And I did see that the longest queue time was 35 minutes for Hyperion, which isn't too bad on a regular day, but in this heat wave, that's probably hell. As for Legoland Windsor, I didn't check that, and that's the same with Alton Towers. Sorry guys. At theme parks, especially roller coasters, running in the heat cannot always be a good thing, even though it's completely dead at most of these parks at the moment. Now, due to this crazy heat, many rides tend to actually shut throughout the day due to technical difficulties, and this is triggered by the heat, as I just said. I just repeated myself, sorry. And I watched a video on TikTok, I think it's Coaster Talk, that did mention how sometimes the wheels of the roller coasters can get too hot, therefore they have to close the ride to let the wheels cool down. And obviously it's already going to be heated up because of the friction of the roller coaster wheels running through the track consistently. Ooh, science! So that completely makes sense. And also just normal technical faults just triggered by the heat. Just to keep it short, I don't know all the details. So I guess that's probably a disadvantage. Another disadvantage is that some rides like Hyperion being on a 35-minute queue, it may not seem long because that ride's usually on quite a long way. We got 30. We got 60. I mean, if I was at Thorpe on a busy day, I would not mind a 55-minute wait. Wait, hold up. This is going a bit too far. 130. Oh my gosh! It can't get worse than this. Surely it can't get worse than this. See this? This is already asking for trouble. But being stuck on an outdoor queue line with the sun reflecting down onto you, that's gonna be torture. You're basically gonna be like a patty on a grill. You don't want that, do you? And many people have been bringing umbrellas into the queue line to cause shade. Even those chargeable fans which do nothing in this heat, they just blow hot air at you. But you gotta do what you gotta do, you know? Now some of these queue lines do have fans in them. Specifically Hyperion at Thorpe Park. They have these fans that blow misty, wet stuff at you, which is very refreshing. It's called Water, mate, and it's very refreshing. Thank you, Thorpe Park. I love you for that. However, there are some rides in the UK that do not have this, and you just got to cope with the heat. Now, in the last heat wave in May, I imagine it's probably worse now, it was reported that many people in theme park queue lines would either be sick or faint, which is not ideal. Now, I'm going to give you a few tips on how to stop this. First of all, stay hydrated. That's one of the most important things. I do believe there are some refills around the park. And some of the shops, even though they may seem expensive, they sell some cold drinks, so that may help. The Ben & Jerry's do sell milkshakes. They are a bit expensive, but apparently they're really good. And it must really help with the heat. And bringing an umbrella to shade yourself in the queue line will help, as well as not wearing a lot of layers. Obviously, that should be self-explanatory. Oh yeah, that does apply to some people, because I have a friend that turned up to college today dressed like he was in the South Pole. Now if you're at Thorpe, but another tip to stay cool is to actually use the water rides. This actually applies to Chessington too, with Tiger Rock. It's worth the 3 splashes of water you get from the final drop. But the River Rafts ride may give you an extra few droplets. Now personally, I typically avoid these, specifically tidal wave, because you get drenched. However, due to the heat now, you're probably going to dry in about 5 minutes. It's definitely a tip to stay cool. Now, storm surge is another one, but you don't get that wet on this one. Mostly get wet feet. Now, if I were to personally choose between tidal wave and storm surge in a heat wave, I choose tidal wave, but that's just my opinion. Now, another issue people are dealing with is sunburn. Now, theme parks in the UK do have sun cream stations, so make sure to use those. They're very useful. The beach at Thorpe Park is open, which includes like a small paddling pool and stuff like that. So if you don't want to take the trip down to Eastbourne, Brighton Beach, Bournemouth or Littlehampton, the Thorpe Park beach might be a good alternative. Now, I'm sorry that this was a bit of a random video. I did kind of want to make this link into what's happening in the UK right now. I was actually meant to have a Thorpe Park vlog, and if I went on that vlog, I don't think I would have finished it because I probably would have died. But hopefully that vlog can happen soon, and hopefully everybody that watches this video can have their trip down to a theme park without cooking. Alright, so good luck for the rest of the heatwave, and make sure to subscribe. We're trying to get 2,000 subscribers. I believe we can do that. I'm confident. I'll see you in the next video. Who knows what it's gonna be. Guys, I'd just like to say, if I've forgotten to put any credits down, comment down below and I'll add them to the description. Obviously, I'm gonna aim to put them in, but if I forget any, let me know. And make sure to subscribe, or I'll send you for 50 laps of Rattlesnake non-stop, or maybe 50 laps of Saw the Ride. What would you prefer? Okay, bye now.